Hi, I'm Celia.
I'm Maeve.
I'm Cameron.
And I'm Keirnan. As high school students, we regularly hear about how important it is to get good grades, yet in reality, not everyone achieves those high standards. We wanted to investigate possible reasons for the wide distribution of grades that we commonly see.
We were interested in this topic because we thought that if you had more siblings, especially younger ones, it may have an impact on how much time you have to dedicate to schoolwork.
The factors we looked at were the personal income of students, their grade level, how many siblings they had and their ages, and whether these siblings still lived at home.
To obtain this information, we created a survey consisting of 7 questions and distributed it by both posting it on the Grant Senior and Acapella Facebook groups, as well as distributing it to several freshman and sophomore English classes. The question addressing parental income ended up not generating usable data, so we discarded it.
The first test we ran was a multiple regression. GPA was the dependent variable and number of siblings, youngest siblings, grade, and personal income were the independent variables.
Our coefficient of determination was 0.107, which suggests our variables only account for about 11% of the variance in our model.
Because of our low r-squared value, we looked at the p-values of our independent variables. Student income had the most significant p-value at 0.0225. Though it just barely passes the test when compared to an alpha level of 0.05, we ran a regression between just student income and GPA to get a better idea of the correlation.
When we ran the regression on student income and GPA, we found a slightly lower coefficient of determination of 0.0769. This shows that student income can explain around 8% of the variation in GPAs.
We also did 2 ANOVA tests. We first tested to see if there was a significant difference in the average student income by grade. Then we did a test to see if there was also a significant difference in average GPA by grade.
In our ANOVA comparing grade level and mean student income, we found that there was enough evidence to suggest that there is a difference in at least one of the means. We rejected the null hypothesis and did a Chef-FA test to see which of the means differed from the others. From the Chef-FA test, we found that the mean income of seniors differed the most from the means of all the other groups.
In our second ANOVA test, we tried to see if there's a difference in the mean GPA between grade levels. Like before, our null hypothesis was that there is no difference in the means. Our alternate hypothesis was that at least one of the means differed. In our test, we found that there is not enough evidence to suggest that there's a difference in the mean GPA between grade levels.
From our multiple regression with data for age of youngest sibling removed, due to some survey participants having no siblings, we found that there was a very weak yet significant negative correlation between personal student income and a student's GPA.
From the ANOVA test between grade level and income, we found that the seniors seem to make the most money, as their average income differs greatly from the other grade levels. The average monthly income of a senior at Grant is about $175. If you look at the averages of the other groups, that is more than triple the average of any of the lower grade averages.
Although the multiple regression did not show as strong of a correlation as we would have liked, the data still shows an interesting trend between the student personal income and GPA. In the future, we would like to sample a larger group from several different schools to get a better reflection of the population. That way, we could form a clearer idea about the true correlation between these variables.
Although we had a lot of fun investigating and analyzing the data, we ran into a few problems throughout the process. Like mentioned before, we had to cut the family income question out of our analysis. We kept the data, but there wasn't much we could do with it, since many students just left the question blank. Another question which caused some difficulty was the question about the age of a student's youngest siblings. Since many students don't have any siblings, that question was often left blank, which skewed the data. Like before, we didn't use it for our analysis. Our sample was also a convenience sample. We posted the survey to Facebook groups and went to freshman and sophomore classes in which we either knew the teacher or a student in the class. Because of this, we can't be sure that our data mirrors the population of high school students. In future studies, we would try to diversify our sampling group to make sure that it represents more students.